week on Point, we start our special week-long series on mining and our clean energy future. The U.S. sits on some of the largest lithium reserves in the world. Why aren't we mining more of it?
I started working there, and I was a drill and powder helper out in the mine. We closed it down in '85, let the mine fill up with water.
Our series, Elements of Energy, begins Monday on Point.
This forecast is underwritten by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. Smarter, better healthcare. More at bcbsms.com.
It is an area of high pressure in the much drier air mass that's going to be winning on out for most of the state for the next several days. You're very dry and we are very hot. Chances for wet weather being confined near the Gulf Coast. The forecast for the Olive Branch area through the night were clear. Lows are into the upper 60s. Sunny through Saturday and Sunday too, the high 90 to 95. Clear in the Vicksburg area for the wee hours of the morning, or low into the upper 60s. And we're hitting the low to mid 90s Saturday and Sunday too, with a good deal of sun. Dry in Hattiesburg through the night and for the weekend. Our weekend highs between 90 and 95. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore. This is Think Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2024 version of Friday Night Under the Lights. I'm Chris Saxton, and George Broadstreet will be with me. I need to tell you something about the website. We have had a little issue. There were some updates that were being put in, and they did not finish. So Finetto.com is not working right at the moment, but you can also find the show on YouTube and Facebook, and then Finetto.com will be back up before next Friday night. It's up to you, George. Go ahead.
All right, Chris. Thanks so much. Of course, we're waiting our resident superstar, Russ Robinson, who'll be along in just a few moments. He had a ball game tonight in Copiah at Copiah Academy, and he's en route right now. Of course, Friday Night Under the Lights, we'll be with you for the next, Chris, I don't know, 14, 15 weeks, somewhere along in there.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, a little confusing. We are tonight, most of the games are MAIS games. Most of the MHSAA schools played a lot of scrimmages tonight. We'll be hearing from some broadcasters that covered those games. They're not real games that count in any kind of standings or record or any sort of thing like that. But we do have quite a few MAIS games that were played tonight. We'll be talking about that. Some of them are in their second week, but we'll be with you for the next 13, 14, 15 weeks, ever how long it takes to get to the playoffs. And we look forward to having another year. We sometimes argue and debate what year this is. I think I saw Will Watson said this was year 32. Russ would probably tell you it's year 35 or something like that for Friday Night Under the Lights. But nonetheless, we've been here for a long time and look forward to another good year.
It will be. You know, and the deal with the games these first few weeks is it doesn't change when the state championships are going to happen. They're still first week of December, but it appears that some of the teams are backing off to not have quite as many games on their schedule as they have in the past, and cutting out one of these games here early. You know, it's 90 some odd degrees out there. I don't blame them.
Yeah, it wasn't that uncomfortable tonight, but it has been, the last, we all know what it's been like here in August. It's just miserable and it's just hot, and hopefully we'll have some good weather as the fall progresses. Remember the number that you can call if you'd like to join the program, and we'd like to hear from you. We've got a lot of scheduled callers, but we always like to hear from people that have seen a ball game or have an interest in high school football in the state of Mississippi. The number you call is 1-877-MPB-RING. That's 1-877-672-7464. And we've got Ty Bailey working the phones, and he'll get you on as soon as possible. We've got a minute here. Let's go over some scores that we do have. I'll give you what we have at the moment. Park Lane Academy tonight defeated Bowling Green by the score of 49-14. A fourth quarter score, this may be final. Starkville Academy was up over Chambers Academy of Lafayette, Alabama, 35-28. That was a fourth quarter score. Now, some of these scores are a little bit on the lopsided side. I'm going to change one here. I know I got backwards. Greenville St. Joe defeated Clinton Christian tonight. The score I've seen several different places was 55-0 was the final there. Greenville St. Joe a winner. Hartville Academy, of course, who won the 6A championship last year, and they defeated Brookhaven Academy tonight by the score of 63-7. Also in the fourth quarter, Heritage Academy was up over Winston 41-19. Jackson Prep, the game that Russ called at Copiah Academy, Jackson Prep won over Copiah by the score of 30-14. It was Jackson Academy winning over Leake Academy 31-23. MRA went on the road to Magnolia Heights tonight and won handily by the score of 62-10. Now, they won last week, so MRA has already played 2 games. They're now 2-0. Kirk Academy beat Manchester by the score of 42-7. It was Oak Forest over East Rankin Academy, 55-7. Again, you see there's just a lot of lopsided scores. Adams County Christian over St. Aloysius, 41-14. Tri-County Academy shut out Simpson tonight on the road. 35-0 was the final there. That's a little bit of a surprise as the lopsided margin. And Wilkinson Christian defeated Hillcrest Christian 53-26. So that's what I have right now.
Is that an 8-man game?
That may very well be.
I thought I couldn't remember. Yeah. I thought maybe Hillcrest had changed.
I think they have, to be honest with you, but we'll get some clarity on that as the night goes on. I know that Russ has got an awful lot planned. Of course, he's got a Crazy 8 segment later on in the broadcast. We're expecting to hear from Josh West from Tri-County, Jared Schatz, Jake Wimberly, of course, who's a broadcaster for Brandon, Ray Coleman from Clinton. I went by Era Field going across town tonight, and they were playing Vicksburg in a scrimmage, and the score was 21-20. Clinton was ahead, but I'm not really sure exactly where they were in that scrimmage at the time. But hopefully Ray will join us later, or Ray Coleman will join us later on in the program and give us some information on that. Of course, we got John Marcus Duncan from Prep. We've got a coach from Mount Olive, Tommy Barnett, Jackson Academy is going to give us a report. We've also got a Hartfield report, a report from Richland, just a whole lot of different things. John Weaver from MRA. So Brooke Shields, or not Brooke Shields, Brandon Shields. There are a lot of similarities there, but Brandon Shields, Brandon Shields will give us a report kind of later on in the evening. Brandon's kind of he's busy. And we don't normally get to Brandon until almost about 12 o'clock tonight. But
Brandon was playing.
I'm honestly not sure.
I
think it was West Point. Now that I think about it, it's West Point.
But is that a regular game or
it's like a scrimmage.
Is all that was. I just noticed on
and I believe
Facebook that they were streaming it.
Yeah, Brandon. Well, a lot of them were. I mean, they were kind of treating it like a real game activity. When I went by Clinton, then again it was a scrimmage with Vicksburg, but there was a lot of people there. I mean, the stands were, relatively full, and it not even a real game. But I think the score I saw was Brandon was winning that scrimmage over West Point, maybe like 21-0 or something like that, which is kind of impressive because West Point always has a good team.
They do.
Yeah. Well, Chris,
what happened? Do you know much about what happened last week? Really, was it? I mean, there were some actual games.
There were some games. I can't, and I'm, forgive me for not being better prepared. I know MRA won pretty handily. I can't remember exactly who they played. It was a local school, but MRA started off at home and won fairly handily. I know Clinton Christian beat a school from Memphis fairly handily last week. I think Hartfield also got off to the winning start, won a ball game. Jackson Academy, I think, also played and won. So, those are just, but all those are just early season games. They're not like games that are like counting the conference standings or, that league standings or anything like that.
We have a caller.
Who we got?
We've got Josh West.
Already? Okay.
Already?
Well,
so let's talk to him. We've got
fine.
play. Hang on just a second. Let's get him on.
Yeah.
Well,
it's week one. We're always, football team takes a few illegal procedure penalties and those sort of things. We got him yet?
Well, let's see here. Now we got another caller.
Okay.
I'm trying, but
we're going to get there. I mean, it's week one.
I wonder if
you
he's
kind
still
of expect
talking
this stuff.
to.
Yeah, he may be.
Okay. Well, then I tell you what. How about Mike from Hattiesburg? Because I think I can bring him here. Let's see if I can try this. Mike, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
We're doing fine. It seems like, honestly, to be honest with you, it seems like about 3 weeks since we last talked to you. But I know it's been more than that. It's been several months.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're calling. You always give us a report on Hattiesburg. What were the Tigers involved in, if they were involved on Friday night action tonight?
Yeah, we had a jamboree up at Meridian, and Russ just wanted me to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Give us a report on what happened in that jamboree at Meridian.
Well, I had a baseball score, wound up 2-0.
Wow.
So, yeah. So either defense was dominant or the offenses aren't going to be up to par right now.
Who won?
Hattiesburg won 2-0.
2-0.
2-0. Got stopped on a fourth down play. In fact, we thought the running back got in for a touchdown, but they said his knee was down on the 1 yard line, and that was fourth down. So turned it over to Meridian, and on the first play, stopped the running back in the back of the end zone for a safety, and that's pretty much how it ended. 2-0.
How about that? Now, did they play? What did they play? Did they play 2 full quarters or part quarters, or what? How did they play?
They did. The varsity played first 2 quarters, and then the JV played. They didn't really play quarters. They both teams ran like 15 consecutive plays on offense, and then they reversed it. Then the other team ran 15 plays on offense.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, tell us about, what you saw, but do you think, I know it may be a little bit hard to tell, but, the Tigers last year really had a good season, and offensively, as I recall, were really strong. Is it maybe just kind of like those first game jitters, or you think, or just kind of getting used to playing, or is this kind of the season we expect to see this year?
Well, it's one of the things where you're seeing somebody different, and Meridian's offense struggled just like Hattiesburg's offense struggled tonight. But that's what preseason games are for, and right. They always say that you're supposed to improve from your first game to your second game. Well, you can take this jamboree pretty much as a first game and improve on the next game next week, which is one of the biggest rivalries Hattiesburg has, playing Tuttle next week.
Yeah. We sometimes forget, and at least I forget, you think about this, but, you probably got a lot of kids on both sides that probably are getting their first taste of a varsity game, period. They just haven't played. So that makes a big difference.
Yes, it does. And, Hattiesburg had a good bit of seniors last year, so all the ones who didn't get to play much last year having to step up this year. But looking forward to the game next week. It's going to be a good crowd at D.I. Patrick Stadium, and it's going to be played next Saturday night. Hattiesburg and Petal always open up the season on a Saturday night. They like to be the only game in the area to get a big crowd, and that's what we expect next week.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, thank you for calling in and giving us that report. We look forward to talking to you this season, and again, appreciate you calling in.
All right. I'll talk to y'all next week.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Here's Josh.
Right.
Hey, Josh, give us a report on Tri-County. Sounds like they got off to a good start tonight.
Boy, did they ever. Literally right out of the gate, Colton Jones' first offensive snap for Simpson was a fumble, and it was recovered by Tri-County. 2 plays later, they got a 45-yard touchdown run, and it was off to the races. They get an interception 2 plays later. They go on a 10-play, 43-yard drive. They get another turnover on downs. They get a 68-yard touchdown pass. It's 21-0 late first quarter, and we're looking around going, what in the world?
Yeah.
We then recovered the ensuing kickoff, got another pick, but now Simpson woke up defensively, 21-0 at the half. Tri-County came out and scored to start the second half on a 61-yard pass, and then tacked on another score late third quarter, 35-0. But Tri-County had a pick six called back, had a turnover on downs inside the 2 of Simpson. And that's a Simpson team that is banged up at quarterback. They don't have their starting quarterback, so they will get better. Yeah. But Tri-County looked really, really good.
Hey, Josh, will you just hang on for us? Let us go to this commercial break, and then we'll be right back with you.
Sure.
Thanks.
All right. Friday Night Under the Lights continues in a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for $15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
I'll be right over. Oh, how'd you get your house fixed so fast? One call to EC Malone. If you don't know Malone, you don't know roofing. But what about insurance? They work with my insurance company so I don't have to. My repairs can begin without delay. Amazing. I'll call EC Malone Roofing right away. Thanks, Malone.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians. And there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov. If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer
And
David
we're back
McRae
with
has
Josh
returned
West
a
still on the
record
phone.
$80 million
Well,
in
and
unclaimed
Russ
money to
Robinson in the
Mississippians.
studio.
And there's
So,
hundreds
Russ, so
of
we got
millions
Josh
more.
on the phone, and Josh
Maybe
was
with
giving
your
us a
name on it.
rundown.
Check the list.
Simpson went to Tri-County went to Simpson and won handily tonight. And Josh, just kind of finish your report there that you were telling us.
Well, I mean, it's one of those series that you don't realize dates back to 1970, back to Tri-County's first season. And, we were kind of surprised that it was the 13th matchup all time last year. And Tri-County, you got to go all the way back to 1981, the last time Simpson beat Tri-County, which is just crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that is.
But, a lot of similarities in the programs. I feel like Simpson is a blue blood private school program. I feel like Tri-County is one of those as well. But Tri-County is looking for their third title in 4 years. Simpson's trying to get back to the title game for the third time in a row, but they're trying to finally break through and win one, and they will be so much better in a couple of weeks when their senior quarterback, McKinney, is back. He injured his thumb in workouts in the offseason, had to have surgery. He's still got a couple of weeks left. When he comes back and they can get the ball to Chance Funches and they can move Barry back with the rest of that stable of backs and their offensive line can kind of gel a little bit, then they're going to be really, really good.
You know, Josh, what is really neat about all of this, I'm down at Capaya tonight, and they were talking about the Tri-County game down there. And they were talking about what a great program it is down there. And that, we saw the score, and nobody was really surprised about anything. But, you got to think, well, Simpson, like you said, has been to that championship game and won that championship game. And, boy, what a statement you guys made tonight.
It is. It's huge. Bryce Warner goes 8 for 11, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. Multiple guys, Patridge and Walsh, got behind the secondary, one-on-one down the numbers for touchdowns. Warner can throw such a pretty deep ball, but he made so many little underneath throws. He moves well in the pocket. He's getting a lot of interest from Middle Tennessee. They've invited him up in a couple of weeks to come up to a game. So I think he's really hoping that Middle Tennessee offers somebody who's there. He's very high on their radar. I was impressed with the ability of the secondary because, again, as I mentioned, Colton Jones had a couple of fumble recoveries. Patridge had a couple of interceptions. Johnson had an interception, pick 6, that was called back for roughing the passer. So this was a game that Tri-County could have won even bigger because everything snowballed on Simpson early. But again, it's just like last year. Simpson got so much better so quick after that Tri-County game. Ended up beating Taylorsville, ended up having some other big wins. I know what it's like to be where Simpson is right now. I've broadcast in that other booth, so to speak, and so I can certainly relate. And you're never as good as you think you are after 1 week. You're never as bad as you think you are after 1 week. And so in a couple of weeks, things will be much happier in Mendenhall.
All right. Well, Josh, we appreciate it, my man. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. And we'll talk to you about about Tri-County next week for sure.
Hey, can I give you one more great story real quick?
Absolutely.
Phil Hildebrand, our long-time statistician. He has been with our program for decades. Had a chance to go up as a longtime Chiefs fan, and he got to go down in the tunnel, meet players with Swayze Bozeman at Kansas City last night.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's awesome.
Swayze, former Tri-County Rebel, in camp with the Chiefs. They'll make the final round of cuts on Tuesday. Feels like he's, at least going to make the practice squad. He led the team in solo tackles in the preseason.
Wow.
So he had 14, 15
Great kid,
so.
too. Great kid, too.
Yeah, great kid,
Yeah.
great kid, great story. Be interesting to see if an MAIS kid lands on an NFL roster.
Wouldn't that be a story? Will you fill us in next week when we get to you as to how that story went?
Absolutely.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay, Russ, we got Jared Schatz on the phone.
Jared Schatz, who did an outstanding job with the state championship playoff games last year here on MPB. And Jared does, of course, Germantown, and joins us now on the telephone. First of all, Jared, congratulations. We haven't talked to you since those games. Congratulations for the coverage that you guys gave on the state championship games last year.
Well, Russ, I appreciate it, guys, and good to hear your voices. I mean, I don't know whether to say Merry Christmas or Happy Friday. It's so good to be back.
They're going to be pretty close together.
Well, I told Chris a moment ago, it almost seems like it feels like about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably been 6 months, but it seems like 3 weeks.
It does.
No, it's more like 8 months.
I know.
Oh, well, whatever.
It's just, time flies when you're having fun. Well, Jared, did you guys have fun tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a tune-up ball game for the Mavs tonight. I would say the expectations are high in Gluckstadt for Germantown this year. Year 3 under Coach Russ Mitchell, they really were the surprise team out of District 2 last year that made that final playoff spot, and really thought they should have gotten the win on the road at Oxford in the playoffs before a magical comeback by the Chargers. But with all that said, I think it's left a sour taste in their mouth, and I think they really want to prove themselves this year. So the expectations are high. Saw a little bit of the team tonight, obviously. They had a transfer quarterback in King White. He came in from St. Joe.
Yep.
The kid, he's a big kid at quarterback. He can run the football. He can throw it. A little bit of a scare tonight. It was second drive in the first quarter, and he took a big hit to the lower body. And, guys, you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. They thought maybe that it could be maybe season ending. I did get confirmation from Coach. He's just banged up. He's okay. So that's good news for the Mavs. They won the ball game 24-14 and didn't show a whole lot. They ran it in spurts and had their backup quarterback in, and Rhett Murphy. He did a good job. But, one of those where they're just trying to gear up for Northwest Rankin next week. They lost a tough ball game at Lakeland Drive a year ago, and they'll actually be welcoming the Cougars in next week. So should be a good one for week 1 for the Mavs and Cougars.
I got to see that quarterback last year because he played at St. Joe and Prep plays St. Joe. I like him. I think he can do a lot of things. He is going to find out there's a huge difference between the two, a Germantown program and St. Joe where he was. Not knocking the schools. It's a different brand of football.
It is. And I've always said, I think especially the MRAs and Preps and St. Joe's, really the bigger elite schools as far as the private school ranks are concerned, I think on any given night, guys, they've proven that they can win a ball game against anybody. I think the difference what separates, the MHSA and the 6 and 7A level is, can you do that week in and week out?
Yes.
You can do it 3 or 4 games out of the year. Can you do it week in and week out? Look at District 2 and 7A. Look at District 3. They have been outstanding the last couple of years, and you could say their schedules are really a gauntlet.
Well, I mean, that whole 6, 7, you're right. I mean, that it could go any way. And, I've talked to a bunch of people tonight when I said, how'd your game? Well, we look good in spurts. We look bad in spurts. It's first game. There were some jamborees going on still tonight. And so
a
lot of them. Well, Jared, we're gonna cut and run, but we appreciate you coming in. Look forward to your coverage again of the championship game here on MPB later on this year. That'll seem like about 6 weeks from now, but it'll be a little further than that.
Enjoy it, guys. It goes by fast.
Yeah, it sure does.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
All right.
Gentlemen, we have Ty Boyles on the phone.
Well, now, Ty knew he was supposed to be an 11 o'clock hour, but he was eating steak and potato tonight. I saw it. That's not fair, Ty, to send me a picture of steak and potato when I'm working.
Hey, I had to post it, Russ.
Well, what happened down in Crystal Springs tonight? Anything?
We were at a jamboree in Collins, and we beat West Marion 28-6.
Hey, that is good. And what's new about this Tiger team compared to last year?
Compared to last year, we've got more seniors this year.
Yeah.
We probably got like 12 seniors this year. We only had 3 last year, but we got 12 this year. So,
man,
we talked about that last year when y'all season ended, that you were going to have a lot of senior leadership this year that you didn't have last year.
Yeah.
So they're out of the jamboree next week and into game 1?
Yes.
And where is that?
Ridgeland Heights.
Oh. That's kind of a step up, isn't it?
But, Russ, I think I could tell you we can beat Ridgeland at 6A school next week.
All right, you heard it right here. Ty's calling the ball. All right, Ty, gotta let you say it before we go.
Look at the Lord.
It never gets old.
Never gets old. All right, Chris, what we got? We got time?
I think we can get one more caller in. We got Harold from Petal.
Oh, okay. Harold, listen to me. Listen to me. My daughter and her 2 sons just moved to Petal, Mississippi.
Uh-oh.
And I've got a grandson who's 4 years old, weighs 71 pounds, and he looks great in a Panther uniform already.
Oh, my God.
What can we expect from the Panthers this year?
Guys, hey, I just want to say thanks for what you just said to me, Russ. It is fantastic. We had Jamboree night against the 6A champions in West Jones.
Ooh.
And, yeah. And you want me to hang around a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hang around. We're going to get through the break and come back to you. And I'll send you a picture of a 4-year-old that's 71 pounds in a Panther uniform.
Okay, buddy.
All right. You're listening and watching to Friday Night Under the Lights on Mississippi Public Broadcasting.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phones? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search. You'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones? What?
Nationwide coverage and lightning fast 5G?
Smile, you're on cricket.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools in South Mississippi like Gulfport, Moss Point, and Ocean Springs stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ Robinson along with George Broadstreet.
Chris Saxon, our producer. Ty Bailey taking your calls tonight here at MPB. We're glad to have you with us. Tonight's show made possible by the folks at Cricket Wireless.
Let's talk to Harold. He's still on the line.
All right, Harold. Last year, a long year for the Panthers. You hung in there with them a long time. But you said last year better days are coming. And my question simply put, are better days coming this year?
Looks like it's going to be there, Russ. We got Marcus back. It's going to be an interesting season. That's all I can say, because we got a test next week on our hands. As you know, Mike Peterson said it, and it's one of the biggest rivalries. And this is one of the biggest rivalries in the state of Mississippi, I would think, when you put the two teams,
I think so.
And truly,
yeah.
It's going to be an interesting ball game to see what the Tigers have and what Tuttle has next week, And I didn't hear Mike didn't invite you to, but I'm inviting you now. Come on down here and watch a good ball game next week.
Let me ask you this, and before I let you go, what brought Coach Boyles back?
To be honest, I really don't know what could have brought it back. I think it was just the love of the people of Tuttle, and to have him, back as our coach and do just for the love of the city and the people around him. And I say that because I've known Coach Bowles, as being a church member with him, and the way he is done. And he's got a great staff, and we've got a great administration staff down here in all of them with our superintendent Matt Dillon and Robert and all of them. He's they've got excellent people down here in Tuttle. And just to say this, I mean, watching y'all last year, I wanted so bad to get up, watch the state playoffs, which now, and I'm going to make this promise, if I get the chance in December, I'm going to beat him in Roberts to see you
There
guys.
you go. There you go. We will look forward to having you. Until that time, you got a good linebacker coming in about 11 years, so just hang on to that.
I can't wait to see that, because I might have to take that picture and show it to Coach Bowles.
He'll go find that kid.
He'll go find him, Harold. He won't wait 11 years. Hey, have a good weekend, my friend. We got to run, but thanks, Harold, for the call.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you next Friday and get prepared for next week.
All righty, bud.
Great.
Thanks, man.
Okay,
right,
Russ and George, Philip Palmertree.
Philip, saw you over the summer. I asked you what you thought you were going to have. You said you didn't know. Did you find out tonight?
I did. I showed up at the Brickyard and got to cover a really interesting ball game between Leak Academy, back with them for another season, and JA.
Well, I have heard the book on JA, and it's not, it's first game of the season, but defensively, they're really stout. The questions are on offense, and the score that I saw was like 17-10 in the third quarter.
Yeah, and the game ended with JA winning 31-23.
Whoa, okay. All right. What do you got down there that's producing those points?
Yeah, well, here's what JA did last week when they went up to the Delta and played Bio. Same kind of thing played out here. It was a 14-10 game at the half, pretty much toe-to-toe. Leak led for a little bit in the first half, but every time when Leak would take a lead or pull close, JA would answer with a drive, and that's to their credit.
Yeah.
And in the second half, those two running backs they have, Kingston Mays and Omarion Ellis, they just banged on you for a little while, and all of a sudden in the second half they're starting to get to the second level and taking off, and they got out in front for good on about a 64-yard screen pass on third and 17, and just broke it open, and then got about a 31-yard run from Mays late in the ball game. But Leak scored twice in the final 5 minutes. Had the onside kick opportunity with about a minute or under a minute to play, and had the chance to. Things are pretty tense there on that home side at JA. It was a good ball game, but JA's defensive front's good, and their running game just carried them to the win for the second week.
Well, I'll tell you, you're going to want to listen to the rest of the show, because Tommy Barnett's coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, and he has got a stat from last week's game at Bio that you've got to hear to believe. It may be the stat of the year, and it has to do with the JA defense and how good they are, and they are loaded. I mean, they're big, they're strong, they're fast, and I'm just telling you, you're going to want to wait till 11 o'clock hour to hear this stat because it's going to blow your mind. Philip, thank you so much for calling us tonight, and give me a holler during the week when you get a chance.
Will do.
Thanks, man.
So, do you want to go over some scores?
Yes, I do.
We haven't given those in a while.
Okay.
And I'll just run through what we have. Park Lane Academy defeated Bowling Green 49-14. Starkville Academy, this ended up being a fairly close game. Starkville Academy won over Chambers Academy of Lafayette, Alabama, 35-31 was the final there. It was Greenville St. Joe shutting out Clinton Christian 55-0. A little surprised at that.
Yeah.
Hartfield, no problem with Brookhaven 63-7. Heritage Academy defeated Winston 50-25. It was Humphreys Academy shutting out Kemper 40-0. Of course, we've mentioned your game, Jackson Prep over Copiah, 30-14. Just talked about the Jackson Academy Leak Academy game, with Jackson Academy winning 31-23. MRA had no trouble with Magnolia Heights tonight, winning 62-10. And you say MRA is pretty stout this year.
They're stout, and we're going to talk to John Weaver later in the second hour.
Yeah, okay. Kirk Academy defeated Manchester 42-7. Tunica over North Sunflower 46-0. Oak Forest defeated East Rankin by the score of 55-7. It was Adams County Christian over St. Aloysius 41-14. Tri-County shut out Simpson 35-0. A little bit surprised at that. I mean, Simpson, we've talked about that a little bit with Josh, but Tri-County just, I don't know how they do it. They just always
year
have
in and year out.
Every year they have a good team.
Every year.
Wilkinson Christian over Hillcrest 53-26. And Winona Christian over West Memphis 45-18.
Were you aware that Hillcrest has gone to 8-man?
That's exactly what Chris said earlier.
Yeah. I thought they had.
So, I mean, honestly, some of these scores are some 8-man scores,
right.
But this is the first week, and we're just making adjustments.
There's nothing wrong with your radio.
There's nothing wrong.
We're
We're getting it straight. But anyway, there's some 8-man scores mixed in there. But anyway.
Well, again, you got a lot of jamborees tonight, and some of these teams actually played a football game last week.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, JA played and MRA played.
Yeah, several of the local schools played. But we were talking. I was on the first caller, I think, from Hattiesburg. We were talking about how, some of these guys, these jamborees or first games and stuff. You get a lot of kids that have never played a varsity football game.
Yeah,
and they play 5 or 6 games, and that's a lot of experience for them. So you just never really know these first week or two how it's going to go, and it'll change over time.
Well, and Harold was talking, and Jared Schatz too. I mean, they're all talking about the fact that a lot of these kids got experience last year. They took their lumps last year. Prep's got 36 returning seniors.
Wow. How many do they have on the team?
88.
36 out of 88. That's a pretty high percentage of seniors.
That's high, and I think Coach Goodwin played most of them tonight. But you had some teams taking those lumps last year, and they're going to take big steps this year.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing the change of a football player between his junior year and his senior year.
Well, in high school especially.
Yeah.
Big difference.
How about Swayze Bozeman, from Tri-County, having a shot to make the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, now he played at USM, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, Prep's Darren Ely played with the Chiefs for 2 years. The 2 years they went to the Super Bowl and won, he got 2 rings.
How about that?
How many kids get to do that? Of course, he played at Ole Miss. So want to remind everyone that our score is our phone number is 877-MPB-RING. And we've got people, we haven't talked to Jake Wimberly yet.
No.
Brandon Bulldogs are unbelievable.
Yeah.
They're and Sam Williams, their head coach, will be with us in the second hour tonight. We're also going to talk to Ray Coleman, new
Sugar
coach.
Ray.
Sugar Ray. Sweet Sugar Ray. They got a new coach in Clinton.
Yeah, and I talked to Danny Davis about him. You know, Danny caught me in the grocery store, and he gave me the whole
Did your ice cream melt?
Well, no, he gave me the whole 9 yards. But Danny was excited. And, you know, Danny doesn't get excited about just anything. But Danny was excited, and he really felt like there was kind of a shot of new blood, and it was going to be good.
Yeah, and you know, that happens a lot. I mean, how about Coach Burrell's going back to pedal?
Right.
They're really excited about that.
Yeah. After spending a year at Meridian, maybe?
Yes, Meridian, and got him in the playoffs.
Right. Well, he's a good coach.
Oh, he's a great coach. Tonight, you had Herbert Davis at MRA going back to a school where he scored a lot of points at Brookhaven Academy, who didn't score very many points tonight. But that's got to be interesting, too, to have a coach go back to where, you know, he's coached in the past, built that program up. You remember, I mean, he was winning games 60-0, and back, you know, Brookhaven was somebody to be reckoned with. So going to give you an opportunity. NPB Ring, 877 NPB Ring is our number. You can give us a call and
give us the number 1-877-672-7464. I can't deal with those letters.
You know, we've got John Marcus Duncan on the phone.
Okay.
So as soon as we come back from the break, we'll put him on.
Sounds good. You're listening and watching the Friday Night Under the Lights.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
When storms rage, Malone responds. From claim to completion, Malone Roofing has helped rebuild communities for nearly 50 years. Contact Malone for 24/7 service at ecmalone.com.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepaid college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today. See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Free phones? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. Russ and George here with you on this Friday night. And last year I issued a challenge to George to go and to the government website that Treasurer David McRae has set up for unclaimed money. And I actually did it, and it was $50 for me, which was $49 more than I had into my pocket at that time, which was good. But I don't know if you know this or not, but they've returned $100 million in that fund.
For how?
In 4 years.
In 4 years.
$100 million.
That's great.
And all the people have to do is, just check out the information on the website. So do that. And it is a lot of people say, well, what's the website? What's the website? Treasury.ms.gov. Treasury.ms.gov. And
you just look for your name.
Yes. And it'll tell you, hey, this is waiting for you.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you how to do that. So it's all there. It's all there. I challenge you this year.
I'll do it. As bad as I need it, I'll do it.
It's amazing. It's amazing how need will do that.
Need will come. Yeah.
Okay, on the phone, John Marcus Duncan.
All right, John Marcus, you were down on the field tonight, and you get 10 people in a room, and 5 of them you tell you it was a good opening game. 5 of them will tell you it may not have been. What was your take?
I think both ways. It was a long football game. A little sloppy on both sides of the football for both teams with Jackson Prep and Capaya. One of those first games where you just saw penalty flag after penalty flag, and I think Jackson Prep ended up with 95 yards in penalties on the night, and Capaya maybe have been probably a little bit more than that. But Jackson Prep comes out of there with a 30-14 win going away. It's a scrappy Capaya bunch down there that challenged Prep in the first half. It was a good game, but just too much firepower on offense for Prep. Parker Puckett was back to being Parker Puckett like we saw last year. He accounted for 4 touchdowns tonight, 2 on the ground and 2 through the air. So it was good to see him. He's got to work with the receiving group this year. Pretty much a brand new group. You still got Major Quinn there, but other than that, there's a lot of new faces that he's going to be throwing to this season.
Well, and Gardner Young, 3 years ago, we knew he was going to have a great senior year, and he made some great catches. He ran some beautiful routes, but the one he missed, Parker Puckett threw it on a dime. Explain that play.
Yeah, it was, towards the end of the first half, and just a post route, and Parker throws an absolute BB into 4 Capaya defenders, and just a little high for Gardner. Gardner does great effort to try to go up and get it, climbs the ladder, and just kind of loses his balance in midair, and unable to come down with the football. But Gardner Young was his favorite target tonight, no doubt about that. Gardner had a great night, kind of a coming out party for Gardner a little bit tonight to make his presence on the field for Jackson Prep. So another 1-0 on the year. 1-0 always looks better than 0-1. And next week the big test is ACCS comes into town to face Jackson Prep.
Well, we got the whole state listening in and watching from places unknown. And I think I would be amiss if I did not congratulate this young man, John Marcus Duncan, from Jackson Prep as the head soccer coach. He is now the winningest soccer coach in the state, 832 wins and counting.
And I got the privilege of being up there and broadcasting it for Prep and getting to watch him do it.
That's because you say goal better than anyone in this room.
I really appreciate that, Russ. That means a lot. It's been a long road. 25 years, starting my 25th year at Prep, and it's been a lot of fun. Great players, great parents, great assistant coaches, and a family that's been by me the whole way. So a lot of fun, and it's not just me. There's a lot of people out there that contributed to this.
Well, and I know I pitched my one grandson already, but I got another one, and you know who he is because he goes to your soccer camp. Keep an eye on Easton Bailey. He's coming.
You better keep an eye on him. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right, JM. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you, brother.
All right. Take care. Good night.
Just talking about the prep game there, it remind everybody that was a 30-14 win.
Yes.
Over Copiah Academy.
Yeah, and they got ACCS next week, and
who won pretty handily.
They got a good team down there.
Yeah.
What did Pillow play tonight? Because they're also on the schedule. You got a lot of teams, George, that didn't play. I was talking with someone today, and I told them that maybe we could have started the show next week because just everybody's playing next week, not so much this week. But when you think of all the big games that were out there tonight, you want to get them in.
This is kind of like our jamboree.
Yes, the Funnel Jamboree.
Yeah, Pillow was playing at Lee Academy, but I don't have a score as of yet.
But was it up at Lee?
Yeah, it was.
It'll take them a week to get the score back.
I know. Yeah, I was telling Chris. It is kind of that first week or two.
Yeah,
it's a little more difficult to get scores, especially when everybody's not playing. But next week it'll be a lot better.
Well, on tap tonight we've got Jake Wimberly and Ray Coleman. We've also Coach Jim Risen, who is at Mount Olive, is going to be calling in and talking about they had a tragedy there. And we want to talk to him about that. And also Tommy Barnett will be in the second hour along with Joseph Craven at Hartford. Eric Smith, the Big Nasty's brother, Eric Smith, will be on to talk to us tonight about Richland, who has a new football coach. Okay. And but that's not where he was. He went to Prentice Christian tonight, and we'll get a report on that. As I mentioned, our coach of the week will be Sam Williams at Brandon. And then, of course, John Weaver from MRA. We do have a Crazy Eight segment tonight. Noah Crow, who did that so well for us last year, has gone on to bigger and better things. Well, I don't know if it's better, but it's bigger things. And he is now working at Channel 16. And so we are revamping the Crazy Eights. We'll have the scores tonight, but we'll be doing 8 of those games reports like we did last year with Noah when they have the Friday after Labor Day. And then Brandon Shields will be along tonight to wrap things up. And I talked to Granny on, what was it, Tuesday, I guess, and he said he was going to be all over the place tonight. He said he wasn't going to call in tonight, but he'd be listening.
Okay.
So don't check mark Granny. He won't be in that I know of. He's welcome to call. But I think he was going to the West Jones game, and didn't they? And that was a jamboree.
Yeah, that was
Petal.
Yes.
Did Harold give a score?
I think he didn't give a score, but I think West Jones won, I believe.
Well, they're loaded.
Yeah.
They got their
But I mean,
quarterback
it's
back.
a jamboree, so it doesn't count.
You don't know what you get in a jamboree. It's like a preseason NFL game. You get to see the starters 2 series, and you get 9 hours of commercials on top of that. So
hey, I got another score that might be of some interest. Canton Academy won tonight over Carroll Academy, 25-17. So Canton is now 2-0 on the season.
Canton's got a good football team. Yeah. And they had a good team last year. So and Matt Timms was at it's Holmes County Christian, I think is the name of it. And he can go ahead and call us now if he wants to.
We've got a caller.
Oh, we do? Okay.
We do. Matt, just a few minutes early, but not bad. How about Eric Smith?
Eric, I gave you the big build-up, big boy.
What's happening, Russ?
It's all you. Did you go to Prentice Christian tonight?
I did go to Prentice Christian. They didn't fare so well. Newton Academy was a top-ranked 8-man last year.
Right.
It's not ranked this year, but they will get a playoff spot when playoff season. They got some big kids, and they just run the express at you. They spread you. They got 3 or 4 to take direct snaps and do a little misdirection and just stretch that field. And with 8 players, all you really need is a good one-on-one, and then it's you and who's better.
That's a scary thought, my friend. That is a scary thought. Next week, I want to talk to you about Richland and their situation. In fact, don't go anywhere. Just hang around. We got to take a break here, but stay with us, Eric. Hey, we got a lot more coming up in hour number 2, so keep it right here on Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by Malone Roofing That's that cough drop I've got there. Malone Roofing, they're more than just roofers. They're a part of your community. We'll be back.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer every day. MPB, your stories, our mission.
People who come to cricket, stay with cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for 15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on cricket.
Leaky roof? Malone Roofing has you covered long after the storm. Mississippi's roofing experts, setting the industry standards. Family owned for over 50 years. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
When storms strike and wind and hail wreak havoc, Malone Residential Roofing is there through the restoration process all the way to completion. Contact Malone for your free storm inspection and consultation at ecmalone.com.
People who come to cricket, stay with cricket. Cricket gives me the coverage I need at a really fair price.
Stop! This came all the way from the top. New offer, 5G plan starting at $15 a month. Let's go! Smile, you're on cricket.
Lights made possible tonight by Cricket Wireless, who has a phone plan that can suit everybody. Their website has all the information. Their stores have all the information, and we're going to be talking to them a lot more. They're going to be at the 8-man games too.
Okay.
And giving some stuff away and having a lot of fun and at the 8-man games. And so our second year to work with Christopher Jones. Really like Christopher, and he came up to Southern when we had the All-Star game.
You've told me this, and how many years have we been doing? You put an emphasis on 8-man. Wasn't that about 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently 8-man football has gained a lot in popularity in the state.
It has. As a matter of fact, in the first year, the second year, we started asking those schools to allow us to come in.
Yeah.
Now we already had the schools call us in May and June and say, can you come in and do that? And, Noah did a great job last year just talking to people and going to the prep rallies. They're going to be doing that this year. Mm-hmm. And it's the 8-man game, when you think about it, George, and you've been around long enough to know that there are some schools that are, I don't want to use the word dwindling, but they're losing students to other situations. And your kids still want to play football. So you go 8-man.
Yeah.
And they play a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but a lot of schools are not like a prep or an MRA that can field a team of 85 or 90.
Right.
So, if you only got 20 kids that can play, you can still play 8-man though.
Right.
For sure.
Don't forget, Eric's still with
yes,
you.
Eric's with me. And
Eric.
Eric was at an 8-man game tonight. And Eric, this is what I wanted to ask you before we left. You've obviously played the game, and you've played on the 11-man team, and you saw an 8-man game tonight. What's the difference?
Well, because they don't have those bench players to come in,
they shortened it by 2 minutes, but I didn't notice that 2 minutes was gone. I mean, these guys, like I said, Prentice got behind, and they tried to pass, so that stopped the clock.
Right.
That balanced the game back out. Soon as Newton got it, it got fast. They didn't have they rushed for 5 touchdowns, and that's where your game really. And even in the spread with the run, and it's kind of like a waggle-like offense where the quarterback's going to scramble, and where he gets that lane, he's going to go, or he'll chunk it out there, and somebody else. The good teams do it great. If you can watch top 5, 8-man, you will see some good football.
You're exactly right, and that's why when you get into the playoffs, Eric, when you get into the playoffs of 8-man, it gets wild.
It does, because, I mean, once they spread it out, defense is going to be, as Russ would say, a rumor. I mean, it's going to be spread out, and they're going to get in that end zone quick.
Well,
I mean, it's a fast game. I love it.
Let's get off of 8-man now and talk about Richland. There was a coaching change at Richland this year, and so you got a first-year head coach. How's that going to affect the Rangers?
You know, every season has a change. So J.J. Plummer, Coach Plummer, with most respect for that man, he brought Richland back to some winning ways. And now we got a pedigree. This Coach Worrell come from Pearl, and with John Perry, he played for John. He coached with John, and we all know what John Perry.
Oh yeah.
Kosciuszko, and with the Pirates, and you know, he's played a little college football. He's a good motivator. And with JJ, our Richland team took his characteristics. So now we got a young buck in there, and this team has got to take the characteristic of that coach. And he wants to win. He wants to play competition that makes him struggle, so that they know that the struggle is to get through to the other side, which only makes you better. If you go out there and you win 6 ball games by 40 points, then where are you going to be come playoff season? And we all playing for playoffs. We all playing for state championship.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
We want to get to that future at Richland. You know, we want to get that a young coach. I played for a young coach at Richland many a moons ago now, my friend. And this guy reminds me of my coach, because he just has that. He sees where he wants to go in his career, and Richland's part of that.
Well, Eric, we'll look forward to following the Rangers. We got to run. We got a bunch of guys got to try to get on. But thanks for staying up and being a part of our show tonight. We will talk to you next week, I hope.
Enjoyed it. I will be around next week.
Thanks, Eric.
So, according to this, I've got Eric Melson, the head coach in Mount Olive, Mississippi.
Okay. Well, now, Jim Risen was going to set this up. Coach, are you with us?
Hang on just a second. Right. Let me get Coach with us. Now he is.
Coach, are you with us?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, you know, you've dealt with a tragedy up there, and I told the folks, you know, we won't get too specific about it, but as a football coach, how do you handle that? You lost a player this week.
Man, well, I'm going to make a little correction. It wasn't a player. It was one of our managers. It was a team manager that lost his life. Now, I did have a player that was he was the one driving the car. He was they was in a really bad wreck. Now, he survived the wreck. Now, he has a couple bad injuries, broken leg, had some severe burns to his face. But he did survive. Matter of fact, he came today to talk to the team, just to show you how strong that kid is. But the manager that we had, Josiah Hutton, he did pass in that wreck. He was a 7th grader at our school, so you know it's been a pretty tough week for us. But you know, those people at Mount Olive, man, we stuck together. One thing about that community, everybody knows each other, and you know we pulled through it. You know, we have pulled through it.
Well, you know, as a coach, you gotta you got to wear a lot of hats, and I tip mine to you tonight for being able to handle this, as it is a very tough situation. I saw the pictures. I'm amazed that your player made it through.
Yes, sir, man. It was tough. And the thing about it, I was telling my wife, I was like, man, this is my first year being a head coach, and I was like, man, you don't have a script for this. You know what I mean? But I just thank God that I've been around a lot of great coaches, and one thing about me, man, I got a big faith in God, so I just prayed, and I love those kids. A lot of guys get on here, it's so cliche. But you know what? I actually love these kids, man. It's pretty big for me. I love my job, so I know I had to be strong for these guys because on Tuesday, the wreck happened on Monday. On Tuesday, it was a pretty tough day at Mount Olive. You know what I mean? Even for me, being a head coach, and everything that we went through, man, and I actually didn't have practice that day because it kind of shook up my players some, but we regrouped. And we came on back, man. We came on back with it.
Well, Coach, again, I tip my hat to you, and our thoughts and prayers are with the family of this young man that passed and also with the player that did survive. We're going to keep an eye on Mount Olive. This is a team that is a tradition-rich team that, like you say, your community is that team. And we've watched them over the years. Of course, they're well documented, Steve McNair and all the McNairs that have gone through down over there. And we certainly hope you the best in your season this year. I thank you for taking time out of your schedule on a very difficult week to talk to us on Friday night under the lights. And again, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
All right. Thank you guys for having me.
All righty.
Tommy Barnett.
Oh, Tommy. Boy, what a game you guys had tonight.
Yeah, it was a really good game, Russ. Really defensive slugfest for the majority of really 3 quarters, and then defense decided to take the 4th quarter off, and Russ, I believe in the last 8 minutes of the game, there was a total of 27 points scored. Jay came out on top 31-23 over a very talented Leak Academy squad. They're going to make noise in 5A this year. Of course, led by their stud quarterback, only a junior. But he kind of lit up the Jay secondary late in the 4th quarter. And like we talked earlier today, really Jay struggled for about almost 2 full quarters, had 35 total yards midway through the 2nd quarter, but finished the night was right at 400 yards. And Amari Ellis and Kingston Mays both did a lot of damage on the ground, as well as Carter Matheson. He's our junior quarterback. He's taking care of the ball really well the first 2 weeks. Threw his first touchdown pass tonight on a beautiful screen pass on 3rd and 17. And Jay defense played well. I think just got gassed. It was really humid.
Yeah.
Out there tonight, Russ. And of course now we 2-0. Play again at the Brickyard next week against Pillow Academy.
All right, look, before I let you go, you've got the stat of the year so far. I hope George is listening to this because last week you played bio, and I want you to tell me the stat that you gave me today.
Of course, really just no doubt what Jay's strong suit is, and that's defense. And against Bio Academy, 45-0 win on the road last week. Bio Academy ran 42 plays last Friday night for a grand total of 30 yards. And I'll save you your calculator. That's an average of 0.7 yards per play.
That is a defensive manhandling.
Yeah. And, of course, Coach Duggan, his first year as head coach at Jay, he's just kind of he's a math scientist on the defensive side of things. And I think he's going to do great things at Jay.
Well, it should be a lot of fun, Tommy. I'm going to cut you loose and let you go. Thanks for calling in, and We'll refer back to this stat in November and see if there's any stat that's better than that, but I doubt it. Hey, have a great week, Tommy. We appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Russ. Y'all too, bud.
All righty.
How about Joseph Craven?
Joseph, my Joseph, another night at the office for the Hartville Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I think I slept through about half the game.
And you called it.
I did. No telling what I said. No, it was. We're on the road down at Brookhaven Academy tonight, and started off in week 0 last week. So this was our second game of the young season, which is hard to believe. I feel like it's still the middle of July, and we've already played 2 games, which is a weird feeling.
Yes.
But both victories tonight. Tonight, 63-7 was the final from Brookhaven. Hawks came out swinging and took care of business.
All right, Joseph, everybody, it's well documented the players that you lost through graduation last year. I think 2 of them are going to help Southern right away, University of Southern Mississippi. But you still kept a nucleus of players and have had 1 or 2 additions. Is this, and I know it's early, but is it as strong a team as the Hawks were that won the championship last year?
Talking to some of the coaches, especially some of the defensive coaches, they feel like top to bottom, it's a better defensive unit as a team, which is a scary thought, I think, considering how outstanding the defensive player of the year for the MAIS, Chris Jones, was last year, who's now, as you mentioned, at Southern Miss. There are still several guys. There's 2 SEC commitments on the defensive line. There's 2 defensive backs that are, defensive or D1 prospects. So there's still a lot of talent there, even with the guys that have graduated.
Joseph, if you don't mind, we're going to go to a commercial break, and you just hang on the phone. We'll come right back to you.
Yeah, I got nothing else going on.
Thank you, sir, very much.
You're listening and watching to Friday Night Under the Lights. We will be back.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians, and there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov.
Leaky roof? Malone Roofing has you covered long after the storm. Mississippi's roofing experts, setting the industry standards. Family owned for over 50 years. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4! Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4! Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phones? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by Impact of Mississippi. And, of course, a lot of folks, going to that area. You get you start saving for your college for your kids. And with the linebacker I've got coming up in 11 years, that's something that I really need to think about.
Yeah, don't count on that scholarship just yet. Just yet.
If it takes after his grandfather, it certainly won't be scholastic. Trust me. But we got Joseph Craven on the phone from Hartfield, and Joseph, we were talking about the Hawks, and this is a really good story because anybody in this area knows that the school started out as University Christian, eons ago, and here in the last 3 to 4 years. A lot of building over there, a lot of remodeling over there, a lot of new students over there. David Horner does, a great job over there. And your football team has caught up to that and actually surpassed that, I think. I mean, they're one of the teams to beat, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun, to say the least, to be able to witness all of that. This is my 6th year at the school, and I'm not going to point out that coincides with the growth of the football program. I'm not going to take any credit, but it has been a lot of fun to witness it, to watch the growth. You're absolutely right. I grew up in an old MPSA school back when that was what it was called, not the MAIS, and we played against University Christian back then. Of course, University Christian closed its doors, and the people kind of reconvened to start up Hartfield as it is now, as a completely separate entity. And it really is a school that I feel like has had a clear mission in what we've tried to accomplish, and that's reflected in the way things have grown. And, obviously we benefit from people just moving out to Flowood. That helps things out, and it's good timing. But it's been a lot of fun, and the football program's no different. And it's a fun program in general because top to bottom, from varsity to JV, even to 8th and 7th grade, it's all a lot of the same coaches that are involved that are working to teach the kids the same fundamentals that they want them to use throughout their whole time. And that's what's kind of reflected now that it's a pretty heavy senior class in the football program this year, but it's guys that have been playing together for the last 4 or 5 years and have really gelled together. And it is a true program that has been built.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I've been in the new press box, and kudos. They actually talked to a broadcaster, I think, because it's nice. The windows slide up. It's great. And for a guy who's had to be in the stands most of the time when he calls Hartfield games, I'm excited about your press box. We're going to cut you and let you go, but Joseph, congratulations on the win tonight, and I'm sure that we'll be talking with you very quickly. Who do you have next week and where?
Of course. Well, we will be back at home at Community Bank Field in that press box. I will let you know, you sitting in the stands was probably a better seat than I had in the old tiny press box.
You are exactly right.
But we'll be back at home and against, of course, a vaunted and lauded, historically good program in Simpson Academy.
Yeah, they're going to be a little salty because of what they went through tonight. So, Joseph, have a great week, my friend, and we'll talk to you next Friday.
Of course. Absolutely, brother.
Thanks, man.
John Weaver, MRA, to visit with you.
Oh, John. That one got ugly early tonight.
Russ, it was the longest first quarter I've ever been a part of. It was 59 minutes long.
What? How much?
The first quarter. 59 minutes.
59-minute quarter of football.
First quarter. Yeah, I couldn't say an hour. So Philip Dorff, who's coaching with us this year, he said, that was an hour. And I looked at my watch and said, no, that's 59 minutes, buddy.
But in a high school game, that's really unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really hikes through the ball a lot. And, when you throw the ball and that incomplete happens, that clock don't run.
That's right.
So,
well, how many penalties, though? Was it penalty-ridden?
Not really. Not really. It was just more of them throwing the football a lot, which, that's great for us. If you want the ball back on offense, there's a lot of time to do things. So that's what happened. It was, traveling up to Senatobia. We're on our way back home. I mean, I'm looking at the bus driver right now. We'll be home at 12:04 on Saturday morning.
Well, you ain't got long to go then. You could be home before Sports Center LA.
There you go. So, yeah, it was a fun look. This team's a fun team. It reminds me a lot of the 2019-2020 team, and Philip kind of lived in that. These guys are really close and enjoy playing with each other. Samuel Stockett, is the new quarterback. It's been John White. Everybody knows John White is down in Southern now, but
right.
Been in the system for the 2 years under him, and John White did a great job of mentoring him and maturing into the position that comes with being the starting quarterback at Madison Ridgeland Academy. So Samuel's done a great job for us for these first 2 games of the season.
Well, I thought Stockton still did a great job when he came in for White last year, and he's just steady. And I'm telling you, John, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but up and down the MAIS Division 6, it's anybody's ball game.
It's anybody's ball game. You're exactly right. You start out, and I'm just going to talk about quarterback play in general. I mean, you look at Billy Bucket, Parker, and I have 3 touchdowns, and just how he is. And then you look at Stockett, and the one thing I told him, I was like, man, you're so poised. You're so poised for being a first-year starter last week. And then you look at Tapper and Hartfield, and then the guy J.A. They're just from top to bottom. This league's going to be pretty dang good. You better be playing your best.
Yep.
Late October, November. When it's time to go play back in Mississippi College.
Can you imagine November football between those 4 teams? I mean, it's going to be brutal.
Incredible.
You went up to the north part of the state. We don't hear a lot about Magnolia, Mag Heights, and because they're way up there, almost toward Memphis. But they've got a pretty good program up there.
They do. Russ is doing a great job with them. Coach Whiteside is. Their quarterback can sling it. They went down their first drive, went down, and we stuffed them. But they needed a field goal. It was 7-3. And I'll tell you what else is nice. The stadium is beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. They've kind of, if you're familiar with Ouachita Baptist in Arkansas and Arkadelphia, it's kind of that same layout with all the brick and the way it is. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful stadium. But we travel way north this week. We go way south next week. Come to
Gulfport?
No. Oak Forest.
Oak Forest. Ooh.
We go downtown beach. So we go north, and then we go south, and then we're in the metro for quite some time.
Wow. Well, listen, congratulations to Herbert Davis. Of course, the best news that I've ever heard was, he was able to get that transplant, and, boy, he looked great the last time I saw him.
Yeah, that's one of the things we talked about. He and I do our coaches show, and, he wasn't with us the first 3 games.
Yep.
That was probably the scariest time in my life to ever hear about somebody in desperate need of a kidney. But, man, it was having him back. I looked at him tonight, and I was like, it's so nice to have you back. He said, are you saying that for real? I was like, I'm glad to have you back.
Well,
I'm glad to have you back.
I'll tell you what, I got a chance to talk to him a lot during basketball season, and he's always been a class guy, and he's always won everywhere he's been, and it doesn't look like this year is going to be any different. John, it should be a very good year for MRA, and you're a team that just comes back and reloads, and a lot of it is because you get these big leads and you get to play a lot of players, and I think that's kind of the success behind that.
Yeah, I had somebody tell me the other day, they're like, how good is this thing going to be? You kind of mentioned the word reload. It is. But as long as Herbert Davis, our head football coach, we're going to be successful because of the effort that he demands, the discipline that's in the program, and the discipline that comes with that. So that's just with him, man. And look, he, a new lease on life is what he'll tell you. Man, I'm done. He literally got 5 more pounds. Still look back. That's what he was playing fullback.
Wow.
And, he's looking really slim and trim. I was like, well, whoa, man. I said, 225 pounds now. So he's kicking butt and taking names.
Well, he was giving me a run for my money in the hospitality room during basketball.
Well, he's one of those guys that you want your kid to be coached by him.
Yeah.
Just because of what he stands for and the Christian example that he set inside this program and what he demands from them. So, we won the thing tonight, but the first thing he told them is we got a lot to work on.
Yeah. And
it's never satisfied. It doesn't matter. Get better. If we win by 50 or lose by 40, it doesn't matter. Get better.
John Weaver, thank you for staying up with us. Of course, you were going to stay up anyway. You're on the bus, but
I'm on the bus.
We keep it between the lines, my friend. I'll talk to you next week after that Oak Forest game.
Perfect.
Thanks, John.
Right. Yes.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
before we leave, I want to remind everyone that Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? We don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his college and career college savings teams today. With College Career Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rates. Now that's saying something. Prepay college and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked. This person really knew how to write football, didn't they? Because, and I know who it was, because you invested in your child's education. Treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more about it. We will take a timeout, Chris.
Okay, Russ, as soon as we come back, we've got Coach Sam Williams on the phone, so we'll take the break and then come back and talk to Coach Williams.
Sounds good. Back in a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today.
Anytime, any storm, Malone Roofing has you covered. Number one in roof replacements, roof repairs, and sheet metal fabrication. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com. Family owned for over 50 years.
1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search. You'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
I was spending too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones.
Whoa! Free phone? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on Cricket.
Welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights, made possible tonight by Malone Roofing. Tell you, with all the weather that we've had since January, you need to get to know the folks at Malone Roofing, because the wind has probably been more this year than we've ever had. Malone Roofing, they're more than just roofers. They're a part of your community. You know, doing this show for 33 years, like we've done, and Dave Shouse has been with us every year, and we always kind of kid him and say, you know, he's in a bunker somewhere at Boone, North Carolina, which, you know, it's not snowing tonight, but probably will be next week. But and also Will the Thrill, giving us our sheets that have all the scores on them. So Ty Bailey on the phone, and of course Chris Saxon is our producer, and takes a lot of people to make this show possible. We appreciate everybody that stays up with it. It's the fastest 2 hours in the business, and I've get to talk to a lot of coaches, obviously, through the years. And Sam Williams is one of my favorites. And I met Sam. Sam, you probably don't remember this, but my first conversation with you, it was hotter than blazes in your workout room, your equipment room. And you were at a 1A school. And I came back and I told George, I said, you know, this coach, Sam Williams, he's not going to be in 1A very long. He's going to be in 6A and 7A, and he's going to win there too. And you know, Sam, I think Dallas Cowboys will probably have an opening next year. You probably want to talk to him about that. Anyway, you got a good team this year that could probably beat the Dallas Cowboys. Does that put pressure on you as a coach to know that your Brandon Bulldogs have been picked number one preseason?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think, you know, from a coaching standpoint, it obviously, you know, we've got a bunch of great guys in our room, and you know, but that what you just said, that's what we try to do, is put the pressure on us and take it off the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I want the kids to feel free. I want the kids to go out there and play confident. And, you know, that's what we put a big push on, you know, in the summer and, you know, in the off season leading up, knowing that we're probably going to get a pretty good bit of preseason hype. And, you know, through the summer, we've really tried to instill that in the kids, that it's, you know, it's not about the rankings, it's not about what people think about you. It's about how you show up every day, the consistency you provide, and you know, how you show up to work every day, and the growth that you show throughout the year.
You know, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the greatness of a program sometimes is measured by the guys that go on and play at the next level, and then go on even further from that and play at the next level. Brandon has been able to produce those, and I understand that Jonathan Mingo did something in the area this summer as a camp. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, we took part. Mingo put on 7-on-7, and we went over there and took part in that, and he did a great job. It was running a great event. I'm actually sitting over here at our principal's house, and we were watching the Raiders and, you know, checking Gardner out. And, you know, obviously DeMario with the Saints.
Right.
Those are kind of the marquee NFL guys, and we've got a number of, you know, JUCO and college football players. It's been a great program, man. It's been a great program before I got here, and we've just tried to continue on with that success of putting kids at the next level and hoping to equip them to be successful there.
You know, I've always been jealous of Jake Wimberly because he got to call Gardner Minshew's games, and I only got to call him when I was calling for Hines, and he beat us that night. You know, he just, all he does is win, and he's worked his way in the NFL and has done well.
That's right. And I mean, I think a lot of that is, you know, Coach Rogers does a great job with those guys. I mean, obviously, you know, Will Rogers' experience, a ton of success.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew and Landon Barnes is, you know, I joke with Will because I know him, you know, from being around White every day. You know, Landon may have had a better high school career than both of them. And, you know, they're great quarterbacks in the last couple of years, and we've, you know, that's something that I think we take pride in, and I know Wyatt does personally, is, you know, developing those kids and, you know, taking them in and you know, he's not one of those guys that does it for personal gain. He does it because he wants to see those kids be successful and see them, you know, advance beyond Brandon High School.
Well, you've got what I consider the premier back in the state this year. Talk to me about this young man.
Yeah, he touched it 3 times tonight. I told him tonight before we got started. I said, "No, I'm just reminding you now. Don't expect to be getting the ball a whole lot tonight." Man, he's a great young man. One of the best kids I've ever coached. You know, Tyson just, you know, he's a ray of sunshine, man. He show up every day. He's got a smile on his face. He comes to work. If I told him, if I said, hey, man, you're going to touch it one time this week, or you're going to touch it 50 times, he'd just say, yes, sir, and he'd go out there and do whatever he had to do.
Mm.
But he's one of those kids that, you know, came on the scene, you know, with a very limited role last year by design, you know, kind of bringing him into 7A football. And now, you know, starting next week, we're going to really cut him loose and, you know, let the state see what kind of a talent he is. And I think that he'll be a great ambassador for our school, for the state of Mississippi. And I think he's really going to make a lot of people in this community and in the state proud over the next 3 years.
We're talking with Sam Williams, who is the head coach of the Brandon Bulldogs. Coach, you went to, you know, from 6A to 7A. Tell me the differences between 6A and 7A, if there is any.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the highest level of football, whether it's 5A, 6A, 7A, whatever it is in your state, you know, it's not a whole lot of difference. I think as we increase classifications, and a lot of us push for that with MHSA, and I think it was the right thing to do. It just added, you know, a different layer in the non-district schedule. You know, you don't have those, you know, quote unquote homecoming games. You don't have games that are, you look out there and they're guaranteed wins. You've got a lot of really tough games, and I like it personally because it kind of is what it's done is it split the season in two. You get five non-district, five district games. But you know, just like we did tonight playing West Point, man, you got to show up every night and you got to play. And that's what you want. If you're playing at the highest level, you got to, like we do, you got 109 kids. You got depth. You know, you deal with kids getting banged up. You deal with guys, you know, being out, you know, a week or two, and you learn to find a way to overcome those type of things. And that's what football teaches kids is, you know, when one man's weak or one man's down, somebody else has got to pick up the slack and got to keep marching on.
Well, now, was tonight, because you said you played West Point, was that a jamboree game or was that a real football game?
Yeah, it was a 2-quarter game, and, you know, we started doing that because Shambles was there. You know, I told him I thought it was good for us. You know, I've considered West Point to be the, you know, one of the, if not the, one of the most physical teams in the state of Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, ground and pound.
You know, you get to line up. Yeah, you get to line up, man. You know, like tonight we lined up, and you know we both went toe to toe. I consider us a really physical football team too, and we got a lot of good work. So we know where we're at as we go into a game with Picayune down in Pearl River County next week. Another really physical program that you know, historic program that's won a lot of state championships and done a great job the last couple of years.
Well, and to go down there and to play, you know, in their stadium, there's a kind of a mystique. You're right. You know, there's a little mystique about the Maroon Tide, and they've got all the state championships to back all of that up. It'll be a tough test for you. And you mentioned a moment ago the 5 non-conference games. Coach, your non-conference schedule is brutal.
It is. It's brutal, but that's what you want. You know, you come out of non-conference, and you know, for every game that you play in non-conference that you can write a W with a Sharpie on your schedule for the season, you're probably going to suffer when you're reaching schedule because you set yourself up for, you know, an easy win. And you know, we want our kids to prepare every week like it's a must-win game. That's how we approach every game. That's how we approach this week with West Point. You know, you go out there and you approach it like a regular season game. But, you know, I think that process-oriented mindset that we have and that we instill in our kids, I think that's what's led to us being able to sustain success over multiple years because it's, you know, it's not about, you know, where we're going. It's not about the journey. You know, I mean, it's not about the, you know, the end product. It's about the journey that it takes to get there. And that's what our kids believe in. It's instilled, it's ingrained in them. And, it's been really fun to watch them pick that up, you know, quickly this year.
Well, I would, you know, I'm going to let you go here after this last question, or even a statement. I would be amiss if I didn't bring up Oak Grove, your buddies down to 49, because you guys seem to get into it all the time, and it's a slobber knocker when you do.
Oh yeah, no man. We had, you know, we've last couple of years we've had some, you know, some just great games. Coach Coliseum's a good friend of mine. You know, he does a really good job with his program, and you know, I think both of us kind of, you know, when you're preparing in the preseason, you look ahead to that game, and when I say look ahead, you set yourself up to make sure that you're successful in that game. 'Cause that's the one you've got to win. You know what I mean? And both of us this year have really good ball teams, and I think that's for us, both of us. I think that's week 7, so we'll be building to that moment, making sure that you're not peaking in week 1, you're not peaking in week 3, you're not peaking in week 5, you're peaking in week 7 when you play that game that's really pivotal for a district championship and hosting a home playoff game. And that's a standard that we've set. We've won the last 3 district region championships, and they're hungry for one. They've won a state championship in there, and we're going to keep pushing for that. But man, it's a heck of a game, and look forward to having that one at home this year. It's a lot more fun when we're playing in Bulldog Stadium and having to go.
Oh yeah, and what a facility that is! Unless and you look around the state, Sam, and there are some really good football facilities now. But you look at what happens at Petal down there, and they have all those tents, that are there before you go into the stadium, and your situation, and you get into Picayune and to Clinton, and it just so many good facilities now for these kids to play in, and weight rooms and all that goes with it. I'd say you've come a long way from 1A football.
No question. Yeah, and I mean, I personally, I've coached everywhere, but from 2A, 5A, 1A, 6A, 7. I mean, I don't think there's any place better than Brandon Bulldog Stadium on a Friday night.
I would agree with that.
A lot of coaches this year.
Well, Sam Williams, it's always a pleasure. You're a big friend of the show, Friday Night Under the Lights, and we just appreciate you spending
time. That's my bedtime.
Go to bed, Sam. You earned it. Good luck, my friend. All righty. Bye-bye. Russ, when we come back in the last 15 minutes, we got Brandon Shields. And he will give us, we'll talk to him a little bit about Chris Brooks' magazine and all that sort of stuff. Stay with us. The fastest 2 minutes in sports radio has one more segment. Friday Night Under the Lights continues in a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones?
What? Nationwide coverage and lightning fast 5G? What?
Smile. You're on Cricket.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools in South Mississippi like Gulfport, Moss Point, and Ocean Springs stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for 15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more. Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates
Friday night
college
under
with
the lights. Russ Robinson with you on
$30,000
this
worth of debt?
Friday night.
That
and,
amount of
big
debt
thanks
can
to all the
delay
folks that
major life
stayed up with
milestones,
us tonight. Let me go over a couple
including
of
getting
scores here.
married,
By the way, tonight's
buying a
show
home,
being
and
made
starting a
possible
family.
by the folks
But
at
don't
Cricket
worry,
Wireless.
we've
Smile.
got some good news
You're
for
on
you
Cricket.
tonight. College
Park
Savings
Lane
Mississippi
beat
and
Bowling
Treasurer
Green
David McRae
49-14.
can help you reduce
Canton
or
Academy big win
eliminate
tonight
that debt.
over Carroll
Their
Academy,
plans are
25
flexible
to
and
17.
affordable.
Central Hines,
Start
37,
saving for as little as
but
$25
Cathedral,
today.
55.
Visit Treasury.
Central Homes Christian, and we're going to try to talk to Matt about that game. He can call us now if he'd like to. 21-19 over Oak Hill, but big win for them tonight. Starkville Academy wins tonight by a score of 35-31. Of course, all the teams, all the teams will be playing next week. Hartville wins 63-7 over Brookhaven. Heritage 50-25 over Winston, and Jackson Prep beat Copiah 30-14. Leak Academy lost to JA tonight 31-23, and it was MRA 62, Magnolia Heights 10, and Kirk Academy over Manchester 42-7. North Sunflower got beat tonight by Tunica by a score of 46-0. Oak Forest beat East Rankin tonight 55-7. Also, Winona Christian beats West Memphis 45-18. And Tri-County over Simpson Academy 35-0. By the way, Dr. Dave will have all these scores on the Funnel website. Just go to fnutl.com. And although, Chris, you were telling me he was having
there's some difficulty with some updates,
right.
But I'd say by the end of this weekend it'll be back up.
Yeah.
But I've already looked. We were on Facebook.
He's amazing.
And so I mean, so there was no problem. YouTube, Facebook, we were still on. It just unlucky for us, the update messed the website up.
Dr. Dave is amazing. I don't know how
he will fix it.
He will fix it. Give him time. He will fix it. Have you ever been to Appalachian State, by the way?
No. Well,
it is beautiful. It's nice, and that's where he is.
When I traveled with Bellhaven that one year, we were up somewhere
close, but not there.
I don't think so.
No.
But anyway, would you like to visit with Brandon Shields?
Yeah, let's get Brandon on the phone. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, guys. How are y'all?
We're doing fine. Before we talk about the game that you covered, Brandon, let's talk. Did you work with Chris Brooks again on his magazine?
Oh yeah, this is year 9 working with him. Yeah. Is
that not a great experience or what to work with Chris Brooks?
It's fun. It's a long. It makes for a long summer, but it's worth it. It's worth it. At the end of the day, it's worth it.
And now you've got to go out to every school, not just some. You got to go to every school, correct?
Just a phone call, actually, this year was a lot easier. We had the coaches. We sent out a questionnaire, and coaches just filled it out, and we'd get it by email.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was a lot easier. So we should have had this idea done
a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because you in that magazine, which to me that magazine is the Bible of high school football. I mean, It's the authority, and you do some predictions. You do kind of rank the teams. What surprised you? What team surprised you most this year that made the biggest jump for you?
This year, if you look at our preseason rankings, probably you got to look at Hattiesburg, a team that's been beat in the first round of the playoffs at home the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of talent. There's no ands if buts. They got a ton of talent, and this is the year. If they're wanting to make some noise, kind of like the 2016 team, they got beat by West Jones in the second round.
No shame in that. No shame in that.
Yeah. So it feels like that's what it feels like to me. There's some other good you got a team like Starkville. You got a team like them that's replacing. You got to replace guys like Trey Petty.
Yeah.
Don Burnside. Those two big offensive playmakers. So then you got a team like you have the usual suspects. Have Oak Grove number 1, Brandon 2. Don't have Picayune ranked, so that's kind of unusual.
That is very unusual. And why is that? Why is that?
Just what they lost. I mean, you got to replace a back like Chris Davis,
right?
Jamonte Fowler at defensive end, and Marion Tyson at linebacker. You got to replace starting quarterback. So they got to replace a lot of weapons in a lot of key spots and a lot up front. I think they only have 3 starters back in offense. So we'll see. I mean, they got Brandon next week. So we'll see how. So we'll see what they're made of.
On the private school side, what jumps out at you?
Well, in 6A, of course, it's a three-man race. Well, actually, a 4-man race now with JA getting some key move-ins in the off season.
Right.
I mean, Harfield's clear-cut favorite. Prep's right there, and MRA's right there. So I saw MRA play last week against Park Lane in week 0, and they looked really good on defense. And then offensively, man, they were clicking from the start.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. They're loaded with talent.
They're loaded with talent, especially on defense. So, and then in 5A, it's Adams Christian. It's a big gap. It's kind of like Adams Christian and everybody else with what they have back. And same with 4A with Tri-County, 3A with Greenville St. Joe.
Yep.
So it's kind of, they have their favorites right now, but when it's come playoff time, you don't. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. So if injuries are going to be a big part when it comes to playoffs. So, but right now, those are coming into the season. That's what we're looking at ranking wise.
Well, very quickly, where were you tonight, and what did you see? Very quickly, we got another caller. We got to get in before midnight.
Brandon West Point Jamboree. Brandon y'all had Sam on before me. So,
yeah.
Brandon 121-0. Brandon had 181 yards passing in 2 quarters. So West Point's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Chris Chambliss had a chit chat. He's back on the staff at West Point. I knew he wasn't going to be gone for long. So he's part-time. So he's still in it. So I get to still bother him every week. So that's always a positive for me. That's the one positive I can get out of every week is if I can bother Chris Chambliss every time. I am a happy person.
All right, we're gonna have to run, Brad. I appreciate that. We'll look forward to talking to you next week. I know you don't know where you're going to be, but we always.
Yeah, I know for a fact I'll be at McGee, West Lauderdale next Thursday night. Next Friday, still up in the air.
Okay, well, you'll see a good one Thursday night. Brandon, thanks so much, man. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too, guys. Thanks.
All right, man. All right, let's get Matt Timms on the phone. Right,
Matt, unfortunately, you're going to have about 1 minute and 30 seconds with him.
All right, Matt. 1:30. What'd you see tonight?
Hey, Russ, it's Matt.
Yeah. I said you got 1.5 minutes. What'd you see tonight?
First-year coach Tommy Acey comes out with a win, 21-19 over the Oak Hill Raiders way up in West Point, Mississippi, and Central Holmes. Both teams real good, real tough. Central Holmes had some big plays by Josh Robinson, the quarterback, all night. Kelton Kinsey scored from about 30 yards out on a Barry Sanders move right up the middle to put them up 21-13. Then Oak Hill came back, threw a bomb to the end zone, just some broken coverage back there, and could not get the quarterback out sacked on the 2-point conversion. Then they tried the onside kick and could not get it. So Central Holmes pulled out the win. A lot of penalties from referees. A lot of them didn't go our way. So it could have been a bigger win, but Central Holmes started out with a tough.
All right, that's going to put a wrap on it. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next week on Friday night. Under the Lights.
Story.